So it started, I guess, when I was a kid. I have this theory that we each come into this world with certain abilities. Some of us are more intelligent, some of us are more spiritual, some of us have more emotional empathy. For me, when I was a child, I had a certain amount of wisdom about certain things, about the way the world worked, about the way people operated with each other. And during that 5 years, I just started writing. And I was working full-time, probably more than that. So I'd write whenever I could, which was in the evenings, on the weekends, first thing in the morning, lunch breaks, whenever I could. I was just writing. When I woke up from my second surgery for my second cancer, I realized that if I'm still here on this planet, I've got work to do. And because of that, I started changing every part of my life. I really got on with it, and I simplified my entire life. I got back to my core business, which was marketing. I made more time for my family. I tried to get a good night's sleep. I tried to take care of myself. But anyway, so I kind of put all these pieces together in my own life as I faced certain obstacles. And I had a lot of realizations. One being, when you go through a catastrophic illness like cancer, sometimes you make peace with death. And I had made peace with death. When I survived the second time, I made peace with it, and I realized that there was nothing to fear. It really focuses on just discovering lasting happiness and fulfillment, which I think that most people inherently desire in life. I realized that throughout my life that it's not one big thing that fixes everything. It's a lot of little things that fix a lot of little things. So it's not the perfect spouse and the perfect job. It's investing in every area of life that gets you closer to happiness. And that's really what the book is about. I kind of talk about it from the standpoint of trying to find a new perspective about how we connect to our world and how we connect to time and our relationship with time. Who I am in this moment is a result of all the choices I've made. So I can't blame the government or my parents or my wife for the choices that I've made that have made me who I am in this moment. What did you like the most?
The serving, which I did start at July.
Congratulations! You absolutely deserve that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's great.
It's great.
Yes.
Is it everything you expected
Yes.
it to be? Yeah, I talk a lot in the book about service because, people say, well, gosh, you wrote The Manual for Living, what's the meaning of life? And I always say it's a life of meaning because we only find value in our world for the things that we give meaning to. And the number one way of finding meaning in life is being of service. Most people would give anything for the abundance we are lucky enough to enjoy. Yet at times happiness evades even the most prosperous among us. Many of the world's poor live happier and more fulfilled lives to the extent that few of us can even comprehend. The grass always looks greener on the other side of the fence because we see it through our own filters and perceptions. The perception we have of our own life will always be different from the perception others have of it. We cannot control other people's perceptions of our life. We can only control the perceptions we maintain of ourselves. Our opportunity in life is to seek magnificence, to see and accept the beauty around us, and to appreciate all that we have been given and granted in this spectacular life. It's broken up in a really unique way. 72 subchapters, 16 major chapters, kind of covering all areas of life. It really focuses on just discovering lasting happiness and fulfillment, which I think that most people inherently desire in life. I talk a lot in there about overcoming obstacles. What was cancer for me is something else for everybody else. When I went through cancer the first time, we also had some tremendous financial hardship because when it rains, it pours. Usually you don't get to deal with just one thing and focus on it and get over it. You get one thing and another, and before you know it, you think you can't handle it, but somehow you do. I remember times waking up in the morning and there was no light at the end of the tunnel. It was just dark, and I wondered how I was going to get through the day. And then before you know it, it's the end of the day, and you get to go to bed and start over again. And then you do that again and again, and then a week goes by and a month, and before you know it, you get closer and closer to the life that you think makes you happy and you think is more of service to your community. And that's what I did. And, I also realized that, in the darkest times is when we have to have hope and we have to have faith and we have to believe. There's a reason there's no stories in this book. And a lot of people ask me, why are there no stories? The Bible has stories. People like stories. And I would say, well, those are my stories. And this book is about your stories. That the obstacles are predestined, but the way they look in your life isn't. So I believe in my life there's certain situations that I am here to face. Just like some people, you get in a bad relationship, you get out of it, and you get right back into the same kind of bad relationship, and you do it again and again until you figure out that you need to learn your lesson and not keep getting in bad relationships. And I think that in life it's kind of the same thing, is that there's certain things that we have to learn. And they'll either be presented to us through illness, through people in our life, through betrayal, through work, but we will face those things. And I think they get harder and harder to face the longer and longer we ignore them. When I wrote the book, it ended up being around 800 pages. So I realized that was a little overwhelming for people. So I broke it into 3. This is book 1. It's reality. It's all about our physical existence. Book 2 is called Connection. It's all about our communication and connection with one another because we're not alone. Book 3 is all about purpose. Everyone says, well, can I just get the purpose book? And I say, no, because you have to get this book to understand the next ones. So that's the book. Look, it's supposed to be a simple guide. It's supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be something that can help anybody. So I would say if you have any interest, have a look, give it a try. If you want to come meet me, I'll be up here signing books. And I put a card on your chairs. It kind of has my website if you want to check it out. There's some interesting things on there. So, but thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate it.